All right, in this video, we are going to talk about the difference between the Oura Ring and the Ringconn. I have been wearing them both simultaneously now for almost like 3 months, which I feel like I've collected a lot of data over that time. So I'm going to go over all of the things that I like, dislike, similarities, differences, just kind of compare and contrast the two different rings because maybe you're like me and didn't know which one you wanted to buy. So I'm going to timestamp everything down below. And stay tuned, we are going to hit a lot of great elements as well as I'll share my screen for some moments. I have some notes on my phone, so I'm going to be looking here and maybe not always here, so apologies for that. So jumping right in, I'm going to talk about which rings I have. I have the Oura Ring 3rd generation in the color silver. It is a size 7, and I have the Ringconn in the color Dune Gold, and it's a size 8, but we will talk about design, price, all of that coming up. I just wanted to share which rings I have. I know they have a generation 4 now for the Oura Ring, so it might track even more things than this one, but this is what I have to go off of, so let's dive right in. First up on our list, we are going to talk about the design differences between the two because I have some strong opinions on their different designs. The Oura Ring you can get in some more colors and options. You can also get the Gen 4 in like ceramic colors now, so you can get even more options. The Ringconn has fewer options, but I honestly like their options a little bit better. This one is called like Dune Gold. It was more of a brushed gold, so it wasn't as like vibrant in appearance. The Oura Ring, it's all scratched up now, but when I first got it, it was so ridiculously shiny, and it's also a lot thicker than the Ringconn, and I did not like how shiny this was. I genuinely debated even wearing it, but I like it. I've been wearing it for a year. I like it that it's a little bit more scratched up now, honestly, because it's a little less, I don't know, in your face, I guess. The Ringconn is a lot smaller. The thickness of it is a lot different than the Oura Ring. It's a lot thinner. The Oura Ring sticks out a lot further on your finger than the Ringconn does. And I gotta say that the Ringconn one is just aesthetically a lot better of a ring than the Oura Ring. The Oura Ring is so obviously like a piece of tech on your finger, while the Ringconn one almost looks like it could also be jewelry. While we're talking about design, we're going to talk about the inside of the ring. The Oura Ring has like a thick plastic layer on the inside. I know the Gen 4 one has like a metal layer inside, which some people tend to prefer. But the Oura Ring Gen 3 has like 3 bumps that you're supposed to keep towards the palm of your hand, and it has like this little indent here that you can, I don't know, kind of feel throughout the day to make sure your ring's in the right spot. It's almost become like a fidget thing for me just to play with throughout the day, but it's very comfortable to wear overall. Like, it's never irritated my finger too badly. I really like the comfort of the Oura Ring. I think it's really good. The Ringconn one has a similar inside. It has like a thinner plastic layer inside, as well as 2 different nubs, I guess, on towards the palm of your hand versus 3. And something about the little like pieces of plastic are, I don't know, almost like sharper than the Oura Ring. It definitely starts to irritate my finger as the day goes on if I wear it like while doing some activity. I don't know. I think the Oura Ring is overall a lot more comfortable of a ring. The Ringconn also tends to like slide around my finger more, and maybe it's just the size of my fingers, but I think the Oura Ring definitely wins for just like comfort and wearability, but the Ringconn wins if it's like aesthetics that you're going for. Oh, one thing I also forgot to mention is that the Ringconn has the same like divot on the inside of the ring, but it's a lot smaller. It's harder to feel. I actually have to like look at the ring instead of just like feeling it with my thumb to make sure it's in the right spot. I have to look at it to make sure it's in the right spot. So yeah, once again, Oura Ring I think is just a better design, but the Ringconn one is just smaller. It's nicer. All right, next bullet point on my list is we are going to talk about the price. The Oura Ring is a bit more expensive. I bought the silver one because it was the cheapest option back in the day. It was around $100 cheaper than the gold one. So although I am a gold girly, I went with the silver one because I didn't know how I would like a smart ring overall. So I decided to buy silver, and I don't know. I think I should have gone with the gold one. I think I would have liked it better this last year that I wore it. But this ring I think now goes for like $249, and the Gen 4 is a bit more expensive than that. But still, it's very expensive. Just, it's a lot more expensive than the Ringconn, and you have to pay for a subscription for the app, which I feel like maybe a lot of people don't know going into it. And I know it says it on their website, but it is an additional like $6 a month if you want the app that goes with the ring, which like you need the app in order to make the ring do its thing. So take that with a grain of salt. But the Ringconn is a lot cheaper of a ring overall. It is around $100 cheaper. I got this one just recently for $199, and I was able to get the color I wanted. It is a like brushed gold, which I really like. And there's no price difference between the color options for Ringconn, which I really like, because they're not biased about what color you like Oura Ring is. Like, it's the same ring. Why have different prices for the different colors? But anyway, the Ringconn app is also free. No subscription. You have it for life, I hope. And so I really like that. I didn't love paying a monthly subscription fee. It just felt like it was becoming a lot, which is why I recently had bought the Ringconn, because I wanted to try it out and see if I liked it better, different, because the price was really getting to me, and the Ringconn is just cheaper overall, no app subscription. Oura Ring has an app subscription, and the rings are more expensive. So we'll go into stats next, so that way you can see if maybe the price difference is worth it or not to you. But before we talk about the stats, we are going to talk about the app's interface. I think the Oura Ring just has like a nicer app overall. The appearance is really nice. It has everything laid out really, really well. I think it's just a great app. I really like it. The Ringconn app doesn't look as nice, and it's a little harder to maybe like navigate or like input the things you want to input. The Oura Ring also just like offers more features on the app versus what the Ringconn does. So kind of do your research on like if there's exactly like something you're trying to track, do your research on like that topic specifically, and like see if each ring kind of covers that thing. But I feel like most people, when they think of an Oura Ring or a Ringconn, they think of the sleep score. So that's what we're going to talk about first when it comes to like the statistics of like what it's tracking. Like I said, I've been wearing them both for like 3 months together, and I've definitely felt kind of goofy just like wearing them together, but I wanted to see what like the similarities and differences between what the two were tracking. So first, let's talk about sleep score. Let me go into the app here. They tend to vary between like 10 to 20 minutes of sleep a night, and my sleep score would vary by like around 2 to 10 points a night, which I feel like is kind of substantial, but eventually they would line up. Like there was some nights where they would line up. You can see one night for Oura Ring, it was 6 hours and 59 minutes of sleep and with a sleep score of 81. And on the same night, the Ringconn tracked it at 6 hours and 40 minutes of sleep, and the score was 77. But like 2 or 3 nights later, I had almost exactly the same sleep score. So for accuracy, I honestly think they're both good in that regard. I think you just need to maybe pick one and use it as your baseline. Trying to pick both, it was hard for me to tell which one was more accurate. So I think as long as you're sticking to one and using that as your like truth and that's your baseline, you'll be okay with like how much sleep you're getting. And then you can see, I'll put it beside me here, you can kind of see like how it lines up my sleep for the same night between the two apps and like what it's saying I'm getting versus like light sleep, deep sleep, just kind of like all the stats I'll put right here, so you can kind of see how they line up or how they like don't line up, and what each app offers regarding sleep. Next is activity. I tried to use my Apple Watch one day as like an outlier for how many steps I was getting, because Ringconn versus Oura Ring, they were saying 2 entirely different things regarding how much activity I was doing. And let me pull up the steps for one day here. It was 10,057 steps on Oura Ring and 12,676 steps on Ringconn. And you can see it also varies on Ringconn for some reason. So I'm not sure why the steps vary, but on my Apple Watch, it was also saying for the same day, I got 11,083 steps. If you want to look at it, like I got somewhere between like 10 and 12,000 steps, which like is pretty good. And I mean, 2,000 steps is kind of a big difference though between the two. And maybe like I was swinging one arm more than the other when I was walking, but I've been wearing them on the same finger, doing the same activities, so I'm not sure why there's such a big difference between like steps and activities. I think Oura Ring tracks activities just like better. They kind of give you more insight on what each activity is. On Oura Ring, it'll kind of guess what activity you're doing and you just have to hit confirm. For Ringconn, you have to like go in and actually like select the activity. And that might be like a setting that I just have wrong in the app, but I think Oura Ring is better in that regard, that you can just hit like confirm, like that was the right time, that was the right activity. And on Ringconn, they're like, what time, what activity? And you have to actually like go in and select it. It can just tell that your heart rate was up. So you have to touch like 2 more buttons on Ringconn regarding inputting activities versus Oura Ring. So I think I like Oura Ring's activity tracking a little bit better than Ringconn's. Like I said, if there's a certain thing you're trying to track, like research that specific thing. But as far as like wearing them to work out or wearing them throughout the day, like what activities they're tracking, either way, they both tend to track that I was doing an activity like at the same time. So next we're going to talk about the readiness score. When I first got the Oura Ring, I thought the readiness score would be so ridiculous, but I tend to actually use that more than the sleep score because it takes into account a lot more factors than just your sleep. And the Ringconn does not have that score. They don't offer it currently. They have like vital scores and stuff like that, but I don't know. There's no readiness score exactly on the Ringconn app, and I really do like that. So Oura Ring obviously wins that because Ringconn doesn't offer it. Another thing that Oura Ring offers that Ringconn does not currently is food logging. Like on Oura Ring's app, you can just take a picture of your food and it will come up with like what the nutrition is in that food, what it is. You don't even have to input anything. You just take a picture, send it, and it's good to go. And I really did like that feature, but it didn't offer as much insight as maybe I would have wanted it to. So overall, I think I didn't end up using the food tracking that much because it just didn't offer as much insight as I probably would have liked to have seen. I know, however, they do also offer glucose tracking, but that's like a whole separate thing. You have to buy another device. But if that's something that you really want to look into for like blood sugar and all that, it offers that. And Ringconn, I do not think currently offers anything like that. Next, we are going to talk about something just for the ladies. We are going to talk about our cycle. The Oura Ring and Ringconn both track your cycle via your like body temperature as well as your like regular amount of days that you are normally on and off your period. I think that both have been pretty accurate. Like I said, I've only been wearing the Ringconn one for about 3 months, which is not a whole lot of tracking time. The Oura Ring I've been wearing for like a year and 3 months or whatever it's been. They've both come up with similar stats for like what my body temperature is and like what day it thinks my period will start. The Oura Ring has been pretty accurate. Like it will just tell me like this is a possible period start date. And I used to have another app as well that would track my period, and I would also just like track those two for a while until that also became a subscription base, which clearly I'm not a fan of subscriptions, so I deleted that app and just went off what the Ring said. And I think both are really accurate for just tracking your regular cycle. If you're trying to maybe like get pregnant or not get pregnant, like I think there's definitely maybe other avenues you should be taking than just what your Ring is saying. But overall, I think they're really accurate with cycles and it is definitely helpful. I also like the notifications that it sends regarding that, and the helpful tips and like insight on Oura Ring. At least Ringconn, like I said, it's not giving me as much detail because I haven't worn it as long, and I think the longer I wear it, the more it would kind of start to maybe give me more helpful insight. So I think they kind of tie on like tracking your cycle. Both are pretty good about it. I know Oura Ring has like a partner app called like Natural Cycles or something like that, which is another subscription, but you can track your period a lot better with Natural Cycles. I've heard it's like a really good app. So if there's something you're genuinely trying to like solve about your female system, I think Oura Ring, because it partners with Natural Cycles, could be a good option for you. Next, we are going to talk about their chargers and battery life. Wrong hand. This is the Oura Ring charger, and this is the Ringconn charger. I'll put some B-roll of them up. The Oura Ring fits snugly on its charger, and I do like this charger. No notes, no complaints. I think it's a good charger overall. It charges the Ring pretty fast. I only have to leave it on there for like 20 minutes to an hour, depending. And it's pretty good. It charges fast. The battery life on the Oura Ring used to last like 5 or 6 days, and now it lasts maybe like 2.5 to 3 days now that it's like a year old. And the Ringconn charger is a little bit different. You can see the magnets where like the spiky part lines up. It's pretty good too. The Ring charges fast. The battery life, because this one is newer, has been lasting me like 6 days. This one also offers like a countdown for battery life, which the Oura Ring just has like a little circle that like shows your battery dying, and the Ringconn actually shows you like the amount of days you have left on the charge. So I do like that aspect, but both are really good with battery and no complaints about the chargers. I think they last a long time. Battery life is good. No complaints. So like I said, I've been wearing them simultaneously for about 3 months now, and the differences between the two are honestly not very staggering. So for that reason, I'm going to stick with the Ringconn. I like that it has no subscription-based pricing. It has more color options that are the same price. And it's just a lot aesthetically. It's a lot smaller. It's a lot sleeker. I like the design better. I would go with Oura Ring if I was into tracking like my food, glucose, stuff like that. If you want to track more things, Oura Ring definitely wins. But if you're just trying to track your sleep and activities and just like regular everyday activities, the Ringconn definitely wins, just 100% hands down because of the other factors. I've loved the Oura Ring. Like I said, I've worn it for over a year now, and I'm just tired of the bulkiness of it. I'm tired of the silver, and I'm tired of paying the additional cost for it. So for that reason, Ringconn wins. I'm sticking with Ringconn moving forward. I think it's just a lot prettier of a ring and it tracks everything I need. So let me know down below in the comments what ring you have been thinking about buying, what ring maybe you already own. If you have other insight about like differences or similarities that you've noticed that you want to put down in the comments also, let me know. Let's start a discussion because I've loved wearing my smart ring for the past year. I've come to really like just tracking the little pieces of my life like sleep score and steps and stuff like that, and I don't always like wearing my Apple Watch. Hopefully I gave you some helpful tips on maybe making your decision a little bit more clear if you were trying to decide which ring to buy, and I will see you next week.